My name is Khaliph Young. My friends call me Moto Moto. I guess that's kind of my alter creative ego thing going on. Been in television for over 30 years, making the transition to different platforms along the way. Started out really television, moved into having the first multicultural online film festival, Cinema Shorts. From there, we started creating content on Palm Pilots and Pocket PCs. And then from there, moving on to mobile platforms. So I can honestly say I've truly been a part of the revolution and evolution of content from the big screen on down to where we are now, the mobile screen. My roots are here in the city of Detroit. Family, employment opportunities, things like that. But really using Detroit as kind of a hideout and and then executing my services and my creative thoughts around the world, really. So it's a great base camp to have, centrally located in the country, and just reaching out to the world from here. Oh wow, man, to be honest with you, my average day starts early in the morning on LinkedIn, chatting with people in India or Africa or Southeast Asia about our content. You know, hey, are we going to go to market soon, or what's needed for the ad campaign? So all those activities, unfortunately, are just all overseas for me, you know, and so my whole network and my mornings are spent early chatting, Skyping with people in different countries about content and content development and what they're looking for, what we have on our catalog. So that's an early day. And then, you know, 8:30, 9 o'clock, the day kicks in here in America on the regular job, you know, which right now I'm working on an excellent series called Titans of Industry, which is a financial series created by Real Times Media, where we take African Americans that have made millions of dollars or really been successful in business, and we're on a 6-city tour with them, sharing their knowledge, sharing their wealth of information to a very different audiences around the country.
Last question. If you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter, who would you name him?
Ding, gee whiz. One Detroiter I could name it after. Oh wow, man, that's hard, man. That's hard. Do we want a historical figure? Do we want, you know? Wow. One Detroiter in time and history. Yeah. That's a tough one, man. I would probably say Dr. Charles H. Wright. Simply for having the foresight to create a museum for African Americans to share their history. I know before they moved into the current location, he was in a smaller location, and before that I think he was in a house or something, just collecting items and stuff like that. So I would probably go with Dr. Charles H. Wright. Well, being able to, I was part of the first, I guess, really digital and social media team the city of Detroit had, which came up under the Bing administration, really. That's when things really got cooking. And having my hand on that pulse, I really began to see a lot of people with individual brands popping up. But it really what caught my mind, what caught my eye, was the plethora of creativity coming up from the ruins of Detroit, so to speak. You know, the graffiti movement, the abandoned buildings, and all that architecture, old history. And then you begin to see people popping up from those different sets, the graffiti set, the architectural set, different artists coming up out of nowhere. And then, you know, I'm scanning social media, looking at all these creative talents, and so that encouraged me to do a series called Creative Juice, which was one of my first web series that went inside the minds of creative types. And so what I would do, I would take people that had social media swag and social media following and highlight those individuals in the series. But they would just really be telling a great Detroit story because it's so rich, it's so in depth with content, just in history. You know, we put America on wheels, you know what I'm saying? And so that void was sucked out when the automotive industry hit the dumps. And then you had all these factories and spin-off factories that were just left, abandoned buildings. And so you started seeing urban city dweller creative types showcasing these things or saying, hey, this is cool. And then you saw a whole movement of people from Europe coming to the city of Detroit or Asia coming to the city of Detroit to really showcase and say, oh man, these abandoned buildings are so sweet. They would go inside and take pictures and stuff like that and share on social media. So that was really the jump off point for noticing the creatives that were coming out of the woodworks in the city of Detroit. And really what the jump off was for the revitalization, saying, oh, we can do this, Detroit is dope, was the Eminem spot that launched for the Super Bowl, Chrysler. That spot was really the jump off for momentum and people saying, oh, Detroit is cool, let me move back and stuff like that. So you have to also understand that everybody overseas doesn't have broadband like we do. I think Americans are lazy because we just got the big flat screen. I got the high-speed internet that's just chugging in stuff. So it's like, oh man, the little dude in a hut or a village with no running water, he may not have those things, but one thing you can bet he has, that's a data plan on his cell phone. So then that's how they get their content. That's how they have a gateway into our world, because although America is what it is, from a political standpoint and a different, racial climate and all this, people around the world still want a gateway into our culture, into our things, and especially African American culture. I've been fortunate to have, our content in Indonesia or India and stuff, and although it's black, they still want it. They still think it's hot. So, again, starting with the catalog, going into LinkedIn with confidence in what you have to offer the world and share. Well, the first thing I would suggest is start with yourself. Create content. Whatever your passion is or whatever you see a niche in, document it, put it on tape. You might like to cook, make a cooking series or whatever, but start with yourself and create content, build up your content catalog. So then once you have a content catalog, just like a recording artist, here's my music catalog. Well, as a content creator, you have your content catalog and you can go into different forums on LinkedIn and look at different websites that you want to maybe syndicate your content on and say, hey, here's my catalog. This is what I have. Maybe we can work out something where we can get our content on your website, on your TV channel, or what have you. But it all starts with you and then you creating content, having a content catalog to showcase to other opportunities and syndication and stuff. People can contact me if it's business, through LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn, or I do have a website, mclaughlin-media.com, and Facebook, of course, and so, like that. I'm accessible. At this point in the game, I'm eager to share knowledge and information. I have seen a lot of transition in our industry. It's an extremely exciting time in the industry. So I don't mind sharing it and giving consultation at all.